Hi, I'm Tom Oneal, and I'm a professional photographer.
Hello, I'm John Chappell. I'm from Carmel, California, and I'm an artist.
I'm Jerry Campos. I'm a go-kart racer.
Hi, I'm Zoltan Dinesh, and I'm a go-kart racer.
Hi, I'm Philippe Dennis, and I'm a go-kart driver.
I'm Jack Peterson, and these are the people we're meeting today on Gimme 5. Let's start things off with local big-time photographer Tom Oneal. Let's get his story.
My career essentially started right here in Monterey in 1967. I had graduated from art school, and my major was primarily painting and design. I really didn't have any instruction on photography. But I walked into a record store in Carmel, and I picked up an album cover by a group called the Mamas and Papas. And they were very popular at the time. And I looked at this and I said, this is what I am going to do. I want to photograph rock bands and do album covers. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I didn't know anybody in the music business. But not long after that, the Monterey Pop Festival happened. And I was able to get press credentials. And I photographed all the bands, and I photographed backstage, and I photographed people like Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin. And pretty soon my photos made it to LA, and I got a phone call to come down there and photograph rock bands. And that pretty much started a career that lasted for about 8 years. It was 24/7. Eventually I left LA and I came back up to the Monterey Peninsula, and I started to do more commercial photography. So that involves everything from shooting golf, which is very popular here, or shooting agricultural scenes, shooting workers in the fields, working for the big ag companies, doing their brochures and their annual reports. But I was always doing something that was interesting and exciting. And then I started to travel, and I went to Europe, and I photographed in France, and I photographed in Italy. And then I got an assignment to go to Africa. And I was hired by the Peace Corps to document all the Peace Corps volunteers working in a certain section of Africa. Got a little scary at times, but it was really, really exciting and fascinating. I eventually came back to California and started to, go back to commercial photography. And here I am today. I'm still doing it, and my job takes me all over the world. I'm constantly going to the East Coast. I just came back from 3 weeks of shooting, and in 3 weeks, I shot the Daytona 24-hour race for Rolex. Then I went to New York and I shot fashion for Robert Talbot. They make these beautiful ties and shirts right here on the Monterey Peninsula. And then after that, I was on Capitol Hill photographing senators and congressmen. I've had a lot of experience in Washington, D.C., and it's a fantastic city, and it's probably one of my favorite cities now. My work is what got me there. So because of what I do, and I have to tell the story in many places in the world, I get to go there. It's constantly something that I get a true enjoyment out of it. Now, right here on the Monterey Peninsula, there are many things that happen. And one of them, I must say, is that this area is the wedding mecca of the United States. It's the #2 destination in the entire country. And I photograph a lot of weddings here, and they're wonderful experiences. This is an invitation to hear me speak at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. I'm basically going to give a bunch of stories during my rock and roll career when I was doing all the album covers. And I'll also include some of the things that I've been doing within the last several years. Since I'm in Washington, D.C., I'm going to show some of the politicians. Guys like George Bush, Vice President Al Gore. I recently photographed Robert Gates. He was the former Secretary of Defense. Fantastic man. He's also a very good friend of a local neighbor we have here, Leon Panetta, who is now the Secretary of Defense and the former director of the CIA. I've had a lot of photo sessions with Leon and his wife, Sylvia, and also at the Panetta Institute. Yeah, Leon Panetta, he took out bin Laden. Hey, Benny, your history, man. So I recently photographed the Rolex 24-hour Le Mans race at Daytona Speedway. Do you know what it's like to photograph a car going 200 miles an hour? And I had a lens that was about 2 feet long in order to get it. I went from that to Washington, D.C., and then I started photographing congressmen and senators on Capitol Hill. Quite a range, but each one was an exciting assignment. Exciting assignment. Just the one exciting. If you want to see more of my work, then you can go to the website you see at the bottom of the screen, scenefrominside.com. And if you want to see more about what I do commercially and more about the business and the studio that I have here in Monterey, then go to tgoportfolio.com. I photographed race car drivers from all over the world wearing these special race car suits, and they had all these labels from all the sponsors that were giving them money. And then I went to Washington, D.C. and photographed senators and congressmen, and they had suits on. And unfortunately, they're not allowed to wear all the stickers from all the people that are giving them a lot of money. There's something wrong with this picture. And I will tell you, as a photographer, when you go out in the world, this is what you want to change, and you can do it. Show that. There were other people I photographed. I do want to say one thing about Davy Jones. He just passed away. I spent some time with him. Fantastic guy. The Monkees were great, even Mike Nesmith, who lives here, but they were a big group at the time, and I had a real fondness for Davy Jones. Again, tremendous guy. I also had a chance to work with this woman, Cher. This is when she's pregnant right here. This was at the Newport Pop Festival. Later on, when she had the Sonny and Cher show, I worked on that. I got to know her. And then I had forgotten about this, but I got to meet Ray Charles, photograph him a little bit. I also, in 2002, was able to do another album cover, and it was these guys right here. There was a concert up at San Jose, and I originally got asked by the producer of the concerts, Tibor Rudis, who actually lives here, and they wanted a publicity shot. So I went up to the San Jose Arena and I set up a studio in one of the dressing rooms. And I had a friend who sang opera, and I said, how do I talk to these guys? What do I do? I'm supposed to have 20 minutes with them. Yeah, right, 20 minutes with the three tenors. He told me that wouldn't happen. I said, no, their management said I'll have 20 minutes. I want to have something to say. He says, don't tell them how much you love Italy. Don't tell them how much you love Italian food. In fact, don't talk to them. I said, well, I've got to tell them something. What do I call them? He says, okay, Placido Domingo is a conductor. You call him Maestro. He says, the other two guys, call him Signor. So I'm all set. I wait for 2 hours. I was definitely ready. They're supposed to go on at 8 o'clock. There's 15,000 people in the San Jose Arena, and they paid, and they're ready for these guys to sing. 5 minutes after 8, nothing happens. I give it up. I said, they're blowing me off, and they walk in. And when they walk in, it wasn't like 3 guys. It was like 30 guys. They walk in and it's just like, photographer, start the shooting, we must get out on the stage. Holy. Well, my Hasselblad, not the one that I do want, but I actually had one earlier, a little bit less. I had 2 of them, one with a wide angle lens and one with a portrait lens like this, already pre-focused, no autofocus. So I said, give me right here like this. Okay, and they said, however they line up, don't change them. Just don't say anything. So Luciano comes in, and they're excited. They're going to go out and see, and they walk in, and they do. And he goes, ha, like this. Luciano's hands, you can't see them, they're twice the size of these. They're like bratwurst coming out of his hand. I mean, he's got these big fingers, and he's a big dude, this guy, you know? And he's got his hands over here on the others, on their black tuxedos, you know, and it's just like, oh, it's awful. And I just go, and my mind is just racing, and I go, Scusi, maestro, can you move your hands back? And he goes, oh, yeah. And so Placido Domingo goes, oh, since when are you maestro? And I hear that, I go, I go, oh my God, I called the senor guy maestro. You know what? To me, you're all maestros. Yeah, sí, we're all maestros. Yeah, okay, yeah, click. Give me the other camera. And there's the album cover. That was the most intense 3-minute photo session I had ever had. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye with this. This is something to show that even though this was in 2002, I was shooting 2 days ago. I'm still doing it. I'm still loving it. But take a peek at this. It's very eclectic. Hotel. Pointer Sisters. This is where it gets weird. Here's where it gets crazy. The new supergroup. Thank you very much, you guys. And just for the record, this was taken in August at the concourse. This guy right here, that is Guy Webster, and he is the photographer that took the picture of the mamas and papas on that album that inspired me. So we reunited, and he's a friend, and it's pretty cool. There's also something else on this peninsula that is really exciting, and that's that it's also a golf capital of the world. And recently I photographed the AT&T Pro-Am golf tournament here. And I photographed Tiger Woods and the winner, Phil Mickelson. And then in 2010, I photographed the US Open for the Pebble Beach Company. And again, all the big names were there, and Tiger Woods was there in his glory, and I got some great shots of him and the winner, Graham McDowell. And it was an exciting challenge to be part of history, and documenting it with pictures that'll last a long time is something that's very rewarding to me. And that's what I really want to point out about. If you really want to choose photography as something you want to do in your life, it's not only a great hobby, but it's also a great way to make a living. My photography has taken me all over the world, And I have had experiences that I can talk about a lot longer than this video that you're looking at. And if you really, really want to add some excitement and a passion to your life and do something that really could make a statement, and you never know, a photograph that you take could have an impact on the world, then photography is a great career to go for. And good luck.
A big thank you to Tom Oneal and TGO Photography. We're big on the visual and performing arts here. Let's check in with Carmel artist and sculptor John Chappell.
Well, I went to school at UC Davis, and most of my friends were artists at that time. Of course, I was a science major. I was always enamored by their ability to go off to class and have fun, whereas I had to go off and study. Subsequently, I believe am the only artist left from my original group. They took another path, and I pursued the artistic path, and I've never looked back. It sort of has fulfilled my desire to pursue the arts. I consider myself a sculptor, number one. I work in cement, steel, stone, and ceramics for the most part. I combine those elements to produce purely sculptural work, lamps, tables, and of late, fountains. I'm well represented here on the peninsula. The gallery at Ventana in Big Sur shows my work. Homescapes here in Carmel, Mary Titus Gallery, Cha Ya in Monterey, and from time to time I do pretty good. Well, my latest project are what I call the evolution of man, which includes these skulls. They're the first of their kind. I'm trying to document the transition from ape to man. My Chinese army, which includes these examples of Genghis Khan in different forms. These essentially become small table lamps, what I call my mummies, which are Egyptian forms. The Egyptians would mummify just about anything. Here's an example of a mummified cat, and of course a pharaoh. Well, this is my collection of nearly completed mummies, which includes the pharaohs and, again, a mummified cat. Well, we've got sort of a collection of what would be fountains, parts and pieces laying around. This is an example of one of my large free-falling fountains. I secure these pots at any number of pot farms. I manufacture the tops. In this case, iridized glass is the predominant material. Apparently the hummingbirds love this iridized glass. They tend to come here and bathe almost every day. I get a big kick out of that. And it just feels good. On a warm day, I'll come out here and hug this thing. I do. This is an elephant in progress. Initially, I make the legs by rolling clay over a piece of ABS, certain dimension or diameter, and then I carve with any number of tools into the clay to, in this case, create the hooves, and then later more decoration. This phase of the thing is a little bit rough, and it just becomes more and more finished as I spend more time on it. The trunk and the ears seem to be the finale. These are elephants that have been prepared for the firing. Right now they're in their most delicate condition. Until they get fired, they are very susceptible to being broken.
So don't get too close to Jack,
I
is what
try
you're
to
saying.
stay away from them.
Okay. And how much time is involved with one of these?
Well, you know what? I've been trying to get a handle on that. I think I can probably create one of these elephants to this point in 8 or 10 hours. They used to be decorated with some very subtle colors. Grays, gray browns to kind of simulate the elephant hide. I fired my kiln last night, Jack, and I've got just a few pieces in here. I'm doing a glaze test on some smaller pots, and I'm very curious to find out how they've come out, and it looks like to be expected. Let's get one out here and see what we got. I call these snake pots. Oh yeah, these are looking pretty good. Oh, we got a glaze run on that one. A little too much glaze There. Well, that's it from here. I've had a lot of fun showing you some of my work. I hope that everyone realizes how important art is, and make sure that you include a little bit of art in your lives.
Thank you, John. We're moving from the heat of the kiln to the heat of the track, the go-kart track. It's a hobby, it's a sport. Let's get the scoop from Jerry Campos.
Been doing this for about 9-10 years now. Started in the late 90s, and wanted to do this since I was young, and so here I am. Been enjoying myself out here in the club. Looked for a club, found a club here locally, and we started off small as a club. I'm a club member myself, and our club's grown pretty big size here. We were first originally down in Salinas at the Salinas Airport, and now we're here at the Marina Airport. And you know, come out here and have a blast doing this. Well, they start young. They start about 5 years old. Some parents sneak their kids in about 4 and a half, but start about 5. And they start at kid karts. Kid karts is a small version of this kart here, really small for young kids. And girls are out here, boys are out here, so it's a diverse sport. We have both men and women, and we invite everybody to come out and enjoy themselves. Initially, the sport, getting into purchasing a go-kart for yourself might be a little bit steep for most people, but once you're in it and you're doing it and you're out here, the price drops considerably. So initially the sticker shock might be a little high, but it drops. There's a lot of people here in the club that'll help you. The club itself has loan carts, so if you want to come out and join us, we have a loan cart for you guys. We have a baby cart for the small young ones, and we have adult cart available for them too, where they can test and come out there and practice and have a good time. If you would like some more information, you can check out our website. It's MontereyBayKarters.com. Once again, it's MontereyBayKarters.com. You can find all the information there on race dates, events, what the ages are, what the limits are, weight level, and find out what kart might suit yourself. So check us out at MontereyBayKarters.com.
Well, it's more of a hobby rather than a sport, you know, and I'm in this hobby and, well, slash sport because of my son. He is a race car fanatic, and I guess he was born like that. And one day he said, "Daddy, I want a go-kart." So what I did, I bought him a go-kart, and I bought myself a go-kart. So now we are go-karting together, and it's great fun. It's a great father and son bonding.
Well, it feels like a roller coaster when you're on the track, and it's really fun. You get up to at least 2 Gs in some turns. Well, there are tag karts, which go up to at least 80, and there are shifter karts, which are a 6-speed, and they go up to at least 120. Time for race. See you later.
That's all the time we have today. I'm Jack Peterson. We'll see you next time on Gimme 5.